Well, I was up in Seattle when the accident occurred, and it was coincident with the huge rainfall that we had back in February. So I got a call and flew down from Seattle, and it was pretty obvious pretty quick that it wasn't from outside sources. There was a leak in the bathroom on the top floor of the house, and it permeated the ceiling and walls and went down to the second floor and did quite a bit of damage. So I was pretty shocked. I talked to a variety of people, including yourself, and my focus was trying to find a firm that I thought was reputable, that I could trust, and also could get the project done as quickly as possible. Because at the time I was really focused on wanting to get my house back in order so I could be down here with my father who's sick. And you were honest and said, hey, look, it's going to take longer than you want, and hey, maybe I need to pick another firm. And compared to everybody else who told me what I wanted to hear, and I learned a long time ago that you really have to trust people. And so you really sold the contract to me based on my view of you, knowing the business and what to do, and also my sense that there was a real commitment to do a quality job. But most importantly, I had a sense that, okay, if you're willing to tell me something maybe I don't want to hear, then I can count on you to do that as we went through the project. Once you guys got on board, in the early beginning, you took control of it. I had a sense that there was somebody there who cared about this and was going to get it done, and we kind of got that part on track. The biggest complexity was 2,500 square feet of hardwood floor, which is kind of unique. It's very heavily distressed, and it's got kind of a very soft satin finish to it, so it's not a high gloss. And I didn't know this, but it turns out it requires special carpentry skills. It's done by hand. It's not stuff that you buy that's milled. And so it took a lot of time. I think it took over 3 weeks just to put the flooring in and the carpenters to do the prep work, to do the staining. The other problem is that in the living room here, you've got 3 or 4 big beams in the ceiling that are exactly the same. And so trying to match that all, so the color, the texture, the sheen, the quality is the same, was a hard job. And you guys did a great job on the floors. I've had lots of insurance companies in my life. Fortunately, I haven't had a lot of claims, but like all of us, I've had a car wreck or two, and a few things have happened in my house. I would tell you, I've never worked with a better insurance company than Chubb. I mean, it was always no questions asked. It was always like they trusted me on when I said something, and didn't look for tons of proof or reasons not to pay for things. Rachel was here 2 or 3 times working and trying to manage it from their standpoint. So I have nothing but praise for both Chubb as a company and Rachel as an individual. Out of all the insurance carriers, I won't mention other ones that I've worked with, not that any of them have been ever bad, but this is really a step above. I mean, I think Chubb is probably a little more expensive, but after going through this, not expensive enough as far as I'm concerned. They just did a great job. Yeah, well, primarily I work with Dirk, because he's the vice president that handles my account. They're great too, right? I mean, obviously they represent lots of insurance companies, but they do a lot of work with Chubb. And Dirk was on it. He cared, right? I mean, and that would be my message would be, whether it was Chubb, Dirk, or you guys, even though we had a few ups and downs, throughout the whole thing, I always felt like I could trust everybody, and I knew that in the end, it may not be as fast as I wanted, but I knew it would get done and get done well. I would say overall, I'd give you guys probably an 8.5 to a 9. I would have given you a 10 if we didn't have the problems that we had. But what I've discovered in my life is nothing's ever perfect. And anybody who expects things to be perfect and go right, we're in for a disappointment. OP, your CEO, you, everybody from the top of your company came here. It wasn't a real happy day. And you guys convinced me that I should stay with you and that you would make it right. And I would tell you that you restored the house, in my opinion, to equal or better condition from the day I bought it. So not 10 years after I've lived here, but literally from the day I bought it. I don't think I could have had a better job done. So I hope I never have another disaster, but if I do, I'll call you guys. Most importantly, I think you want to pick a firm that's got a good reputation, that's got some references that you can check out. But at the end, it's all about the people that do the work, and so you have to have place a lot of faith in those people. And whether it's you, Tim, or OP, or any of the folks we work with, I never had a bad personal experience with anybody. I was pretty hot a couple times, and you guys were always professional and calm, and you always kind of give me the impression that you really cared. And I'd like to give OP a round of applause, because he personally runs the whole company, but he really took ownership after we had a few problems in the beginning, and he personally sat on this project and got it done. And so I give you, Tim, and OP a lot of credit